call them. Now, 8.99 to 9.99, so €1 increase, 17.99 to 19.99. So if you look at this, right, at 60 packs, we're looking at 7 more euros for an entire bundle, which means there's about a 10% increase. A little bit above 10% increase. It's about 15%, which frankly is actually quite a lot. Arena tickets are going up by 33% in terms of real money, which is a pretty big deal. It's not really going to affect some of the players that just strictly play free-to-play, but for people who occasionally dabbled in the whole spending portion of Hearthstone, it is a quite big deal, and on the GBP side, it's even worse. Right, we go from £1.99 to $2.99. Now, this probably has to do a lot with the fact that the currency's value has decreased tremendously as a result of the potential Brexit shakeups, and people definitely did, feel that pain in the financial markets. But that's an adjustment that comes out of nowhere. Right now, Hearthstone is, I wouldn't say at its lowest point. That would be a lie. It's not that. It's that the disgruntlement of the community has definitely reached a peak, I'd say, in the recent months, before the nerfs to Spirit Claws and Small Time Buccaneer, which maybe, didn't really change that much for you guys. I don't know how you've been experiencing the metagame. At the 5, 10s, and 15s, when you're at the floors, the metagame is definitely different, but the moment you start climbing upwards, away from the floor, suddenly the decks become meta again, and then you have some variance in it, a lot of it actually. The diversity is not even half as bad as it used to be, but the disgruntlement prior to that was at an all-time high. And in the wake of that disgruntlement, I feel like the morale of the community is definitely not capable, or in a point where you wanted to have to handle something like this. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the community is not right now willing to hear bad news coming from the developer side. It's not willing to hear Hearthstone going the wrong direction. That is not what the community needs to hear. And suddenly, this announcement comes in before the next expansion hits. That's the ongoing expansion, which everybody seemed kind of excited about because it was pretty cool. We had Ben Brode rap as a trailer song for the community, which seemed like a really cool, lighthearted move from the developer side. And then here, on the financial side, which isn't, by the way, Ben Brode calling the shots here, I'm afraid to say. I know some people want to just, verse, thousands upon thousands of pounds of vitriol over Ben Brode, but he's not responsible for that one specific decision. When, in the wake of that community, I guess, uptick in approval, this happened. So, of course, people are going to be very, very angry about it. Now, this change does not, for free-to-play players, as I've alluded to, change anything, because the price of card packs in gold does not change. It will forever remain 100 gold. So if you're a free-to-play player and you've never spent a dime in Hearthstone, and you do not ever plan to spend a dime in Hearthstone, this will not affect you at all. However, for people who occasionally spend money, and people who exclusively spend money, that's a pretty big deal. The cost of card packs has increased, especially in regions that are not the US. In the US, the card pack cost has not changed at all. One of the things that did happen, though, is because we're now changing the release patterns of Hearthstone, where we're not getting adventures anymore, we're simply getting card packs. Every single expansion is going to require you to purchase card packs, with an average of about 400 card packs, I think, to complete the full collection. At 400 card packs, we're talking about something like about $400, $450 to get the full set of a specific expansion. Now, suddenly, if you're talking in euros, that price just jumped up a huge amount. We're talking 15% increase in the cost of a full collection acquisition, which comes out of nowhere, according to the way people view this. Now, if you're a whale, if you're somebody who spends a few $100s or thousands of dollars on Hearthstone every year, then this probably isn't going to prevent you from enjoying that aspect of the game. If you have the money to spend, it's not going to be a big deal. But as a free-to-play player, what does this mean to you? Well, introducing friends to the game is going to be tougher because you're telling them, hey, come play Hearthstone. Now we have 390 cards every year for you to collect through gold acquisition mechanisms only, so you better do your daily quests, my friend, because that's the only way you're going to ever catch up. And now I tell you, if you ever thought about spending money in the game and you live in Europe or Great Britain, suddenly the possibility of you catching up through real money mechanisms or spending mechanisms is going to be even tougher. I don't know that I like this change for new player experiences where you're still trying to get them invested and to spend the real money. One of the things, though, that there is to acknowledge, which I think is important when you're on the consumer side, is the fact that if you're a player who's willing to spend money, right, the difference between spending 62 euros and 69 euros, when you're willing to commit 62 euros, you're already thinking, well, I'm above 60 euros, so I'm imagining this is 70 euros. Very often that's the way it feels. When you're willing to put down 63 euros for card packs, you're probably willing to put down 70 euros for card packs. And so that discrepancy there, again, doesn't matter too much, but it's for the occasional ones. The people who occasionally just afford themselves a little bit of an extra card pack boost at the beginning of an expansion will just start stinging. And if anything, it's the bad faith that this reflects. Like, it reflects poorly on Blizzard because of the bad faith that the consumers perceive they're being swindled through. And it's really just a feeling problem at this point. Now, I will, however, mention that the whole free-to-play aspect cannot be understated. There have been data-mined potential rewards for the login rewards, right? When the expansion is announced, I believe, we'll have login rewards for a little while, at least, until things are sorted out. So, day one of the reward cycle is going to be 50 gold, then we get 1 Ministries of Gadasand pack, then we get 100 dust, then we get 1 Old Gods pack, then 1 Journey to Ungora pack, and then 50 gold, and then 1 Ungora pack. So we total get 3 packs, right? 100 Arcane Dust, 4 packs, sorry. 100 Arcane Dust, which is effectively the equivalent of a pack. The average value of a pack is 100 dust. So you can look at all these packs as being worth 100 dust each. So we're looking at 500 dust plus 100 gold. So we're looking at about 600 gold worth of stuff, 600 dust worth of rewards total. And that is effectively a free pack per day, a little bit less than that. You can look at it that way. It's like 1.16. So it's really not that bad, right? Like you're getting almost a pack per day with these login rewards. And then day 8 to day 14 is 50 gold a day. So that reward is, of course, not that good. It's like giving you a free daily quest. But these seem to be placeholders from what we're told. In case the promotion for login rewards is expected to last longer, then I think they will revert to giving you more packs for free. Login rewards in the current system are almost necessary, I want to say, if we expect people to catch up. So the change to prices affects people who exclusively or mostly spend real money for card packs. For free-to-play players, the problem still remains that they have to acquire cards for 3 expansions at the same time over the course of the year. And so, if there is a mechanism like login rewards, then that, collection acquisition problem, which I've mentioned a ton of the past and has been a pretty big point of pain, a pain point for the community, that can be mitigated by login rewards. So hopefully, in the future, these login rewards become a permanent thing, right? Shadowverse has them. I know it's not a very popular thing to bring up, but Shadowverse, for all the different style and anime style, you can dislike as much as you want of that game as you'd like, but the game is still quite generous. You start the game and you get a few. You get about 60 packs for free. It's ridiculous. You get like 3,000 gold, that's 30 packs. You get 40 packs about of the new player experience. Like the NPE, the new player experience in Shadowverse, is exceptionally good. It showers you with rewards, and frankly, every day you log on, you get something good. Even if you don't plan to play that day, log in, you get something. It's really not that punishing to fall behind in Shadowverse. It is, of course, going to be a little bit harder to acquire full collection, since you need very specific cards, and those are legendaries that you need multiple copies of in your deck. So getting 3 legendaries for one deck is more pricey, but on average, you can get a pretty good deck, a playable deck at the very least for ladder, without spending, months upon months upon months of playing. You can get them through the new player experience and get a solid deck going just through those means. So frankly, when I look at Hearthstone's reward system, I must say it's been a little disappointing. And now that I look at these login rewards, I think to myself, well, maybe there's something there to salvage. Maybe we can salvage the NPE for Hearthstone and make it feel a little bit more welcoming for the newer blood that ends up coming in as time progresses. Now, of course, this does not address the fact that some people have to spend money and the prices increase. And as I've mentioned, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, that's it, that's the final, there's the final straw that broke the camel's back. This is where I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Hearthstone's not for me. This is not good faith from the developers. Just understand the devs have nothing to do with that kind of stuff. The developers will still maintain a good game. This is a business decision, which has a lot more to do with shareholding and, in many ways, the adjustment for inflation and currency devaluation over the course of a long period of time and world events. But it is still a business decision. At the very fundamental point. This has nothing to do with Ben Brode trying to swindle you of your money. It's just a very bad, I think, timing as a business decision. I would argue that this is arguably one of the worst timings they could have chosen for this. And this doesn't just affect EU and GBPs, right? Like, if we go down, we've got, every single currency that you can think of is being changed, right, in EU. And I believe that some of the, yeah, there we go. See, Moroccan dirham, for instance, is getting changed. You've got, like, North Africa, you've got Middle East, you've got Asian countries as well that get affected by it. So there's a lot more than just the EU and the GBP. Everything is inflating in price across the board. So the adjustment is a very wide... it's affecting everyone at the same time, basically, except for the people who are paying in USD, which effectively maintain the same deal because of the baseline off of which Blizzard is going with for the rest of the pricing. And again, if you don't plan to spend any money, that's not really going to affect you. But if you don't want to support Hearthstone in that fashion because you don't like the marketing model they're putting forward, vote with your wallet. Don't spend anything. You want to play the game, but vote with your wallet. If you're disagreeing with this, again, like I keep hinting at the fact that whales won't care, and that is just going to be mostly true. I haven't ever seen somebody willing to put down a few thousands get really worried about $7 increase on their packages, or €7 increase on their packages. But as a free-to-play player, if you occasionally dabble and spend money, just stop doing it. If that's something if you want to get your voice heard, stop doing it. And it's really not. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but really that is one of the few ways that you can get the game to include or to better cater to some of the lesser known players. Or the lesser paying players, right? The ones that spend a little bit, and you can just cut out your paying all together, and they'll notice a drop in specific players' spending, and then the median just goes up, as the only people left buying are the whales. And so Blizzard can recoup some of the losses that way, but if enough people who spend an average of 60, let's say you buy 60 packs occasionally and just stop altogether,